Hello, this is B4R, and the start of the month I showed you some new bikes. One of them was this one, the Benda Napoleon 250 Bobber. A bike that I told you I didn't really like, the one seat application it has. I always like bikes that have two seats in case you want to carry somebody. Anyway, what was interesting with this bike, and we're gonna see in a second, this is the 450 or 400 Napoleon, the old version, but I also like the design. I think I like it a bit more. And CF Moto is making something similar. It's called the Low Rider or something like that, or Shadow Rider or something. Anyway, what's interesting with this bike is the suspension system. So in the front we've got something that looks like a typical suspension, but we see the coil, the actual suspension is here, and the bike kind of has a motion this way and this way, so it moves up and down like this, but the suspension works like that. Anyway, that's easy to understand, kind of, I think. Yeah, this pivot point here, a pivot point here, and a pivot point here. So we've got a triangle that starts and goes in. So now video of this bike and the other bike that Benda just released, the rock something, gray rock or something it's called. Where is it? Here it is. And then I'll continue. So Benda is a company that we don't have in Europe, from what I know of. I think I've seen something, maybe with a different name, but I'm not sure. They usually make huge cruisers. This is not a small cruiser, although it's a one-seater. It's got a wheelbase that's above 1,500 millimeters. But what's really interesting to me, and what made my mind go what, is the real suspension. So we see it here. It's got side suspensions on both sides, side coils or whatever you call them. But how do they work? Like, let's go and find, this is a good picture to see. So we see the V engine here, and we go over the specs in a second. So I don't really see the pivot point. I think there's a gap here. I've established that in my mind. And notice we've got pivot point, pivot point, pivot point, pivot point. Pop, pop, pop. This goes in and out like that. But how does this move? Where is the pivot point? I'm confused. This seems connected, okay? This is all connected, right? No. Huh? This is connected. Maybe there's must be a pivot point here because this is part of the frame. Okay. This must not be connected, or maybe there's some pivot point we can't see, or maybe I had to cough. Maybe there is no pivot point underneath or on the top, and the pivot point is only here. So maybe this here, this link, and this here is the only thing that connects it to the rest of the bike, which to me, I'm not a mechanic, but it seems like won't that break? I don't know. So here and here is the only places they connect. Here. Anyway, so let's go and see some specs of this weird looking bike. So top speed 130, 249 cc, 25 Newton meter, 19 kilowatts, horsepower. Also, I saw an interesting video today. One horse has 5 point something horsepower. Anyway, wheelbase 1,545 millimeters the wheelbase. 182 kilos must be the weight. Yeah, it's a big bike, although very short. 748 must be the seat height, millimeters. Front and rear, this must be the front 130, 80, 18. The rear 160, 70, 18. 120 millimeters. What would be 120 millimeters? Suspension? I don't know. Front suspension. TFT screen, 9.5 liters tank. Okay. It's got ABS, traction control. Most bikes, new bikes that are of some price, have those qualities. Lately in China, this is the V engine. You see here. And here is another look at this unusual suspension system with the links here. So this thing is kind of floating. Ah, now I see what's going on. If you look here, it seems like there is imagine your hand, and your hand is picking. That's what it looks like. And part of the swing arm, let's call it like that, it's in the hand and it's kind of holding it there. I think that's what's happening. So yeah, something unusual. Let's zoom out a bit. So when the wheel goes up, or the bike goes down, in other words, this would open, wouldn't it? You would enlarge. I want to see it in action, see how it works. Anyway, let's see if we got any other pictures. Tell me in the comments, do you like this bike? This is the other bike, the Rock, very usual cruiser style bike, nothing very interesting. And the price, 17,000, 18,001 is, it's something that we usually get here in Europe as 3,000 euros. That's what I think you would expect the price would be for something like this. 3,000 euros, something like that. A bit more, a bit less. It's less, but that's how much you would pay here. Here we see a look under the seat. No, the only thing I don't like is this, the Benda. and the seat. I would like a two-seater. And the exhaust looks cool here. A nice top view. The screen here, the controls, fake leather throttle grip there. It's got the steering wheel is like a sports bike. That's interesting. Kind of. The mirrors are that on the sides kind of style. In some science magazine, media or something, they compare it to this Royal Enfield bike. It's got a similar suspension in the front, kind of. It's got a suspension that the whole wheel moves away, from what I can see here. Pivot point. And the rear, we've got a suspension on the seat. And I don't know if there's suspension on the wheel. Maybe there is. I cannot see it. I don't know what this is. Now the image of the bike. And that's pretty much it for this video. I'm Before Art, thanks for watching.